This man never expected that he would accidentally join a legendary team of adventurers, only to live every day as if he were in hell. But under the brutal training of his monstrous masters, he trained desperately for 2.5 years, and before he realized it, he had become the strongest S-class adventurer on the surface. However, because his masters constantly mocked him, Jack always believed he was still weak. Even so, he never gave up on his dream. One day, he decided to visit the Adventurers Guild and take the Rank 1 Adventurer exam. The receptionist was shocked when she saw him, because she used to work with Jack before, but 2.5 years ago, he suddenly quit his job, saying he wanted to become an adventurer. Jack felt a little embarrassed. After all, trying to become an adventurer at 30 seemed unrealistic. Most people registered as F-class adventurers in their teenage years. He had started 20 years too late. While they were chatting, a drunk man barged in, acting sleazy and harassing the receptionist, asking her to spend the night with him. Even after being rejected, he continued to pester her. Seeing this, Jack kindly told him to calm down, but with just a light touch, the man's steel armor suddenly dented inward. The drunkard collapsed, foaming at the mouth. As the crowd gathered, Jack quickly made an excuse, saying the man must have been too drunk. He then moved on to the magic power measurement test. A crystal orb would glow according to one's magic energy. The brighter the light, the stronger the magic. Most newcomers ranked between D and C class, but when Jack touched it, the orb flashed once and displayed an unheard of result, F class. Laughter immediately filled the room. Moments after Jack left, the crystal suddenly cracked into pieces. Next was the attack power test. The candidates had to strike a green slime punching bag with full force, and the examiner would score them based on impact. Jack was familiar with this test. During his training, his master had made him shatter golden bags as tough as dragon teeth. He had thought it was impossible at first, but his master could destroy 200 of them at once. For Jack, it took 50,000 strikes a day just to break one. The memory still felt like hell. The green bag used for today's test was the weakest type. When the examiner called the next candidate, a rude, arrogant boy stepped forward. He was Dr. Muad, the Duke's second son, a prodigy who, at just 11, already possessed C-class magic. Jack was stunned. The boy could compress a heat spell small enough to be used indoors. Jack had seen his lowly-sized master cast the same spell at a scale large enough to flatten an entire mountain. But still, it was impressive for a child. As the other candidates took their turns, Jack noticed that even the green slime bags had strong impact absorption properties. He figured they might not be too different from the gold ones. When his turn came, the examiner told Jack to give up. He was already 32, and if one didn't train their magic while young, there would be no chance for growth later. Everyone looked at him with pity, knowing his earlier test results were abysmal. Even so, Jack refused to give up. He knew he had started late, but he had trained every day, risking his life, just to prove one thing to the world, that it's never too late to become an adventurer, that even a middle-aged man could still pursue new dreams. The next moment, the wall exploded, and slime fluid splattered across the floor. The entire hall fell silent. Even the so-called prodigy nearly wet himself in fear. He tried to calm down, telling himself that the man's strength was simply excessive. He excelled in defensive magic anyway, so he thought he could regain face in the next test, but he never expected that the 4th-tier spell he himself couldn't withstand would be blocked easily by Jack. Using only a 1st-tier defense spell, the examiner, stunned, prepared a 5th-tier spell for the next round, suggesting that Jack use a stronger defense. Feeling a bit embarrassed, Jack admitted that, whether attacking or defending, he only knew one 1st-tier spell. Still, based on the previous results, he didn't think it would be a problem. Hearing that, the examiner felt insulted, deciding to teach him a lesson. The deafening explosion that followed drew the attention of a first-class knight nearby. When he arrived at the exam hall, he found the entire area in ruins, and the examiner sitting on the floor, mentally shattered.